Salam alaikum, everyone. I want to welcome you to another episode of Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis. I'm Sally Howell. I'm the director of the Center for Arab American Studies at the U of M Dearborn, and I'm here speaking to the superintendent of the Crestwood School District in Dearborn Heights, Youssef Mosallam, Dr. Youssef Mosallam. How are you, Dr. Mosallam?
I am very well. Thank you for having me. And how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for agreeing to talk with me. Well, so I'd like to start off by just asking how you and your family are doing.
We are doing well, thank you. We're getting through these times, and we've had some close family members who have been affected by this pandemic, but we're going to continue moving forward, and we're going to be positive.
I'm glad to. I know it's kind of, that's the challenge, is to stay positive, especially if you've had people who've been affected by it.
Yes.
So I'm really curious to hear how things are going in your school district.
Things are going very well, not as well as we'd like them to go just because of the circumstances, and it's at no fault of anyone. Our teachers, our parapros, our administrators, the entire team at the Crestwood Schools has really stood up in the situation, and we've had some good dialogue, and we're continuing to move forward with a positive momentum, trying to create as much normalcy as possible for our students and our families, but knowing that this environment we're in is nowhere near normal, but being empathetic to the situation and being empathetic to people's needs at the same time, trying to create an educational environment so we can maintain and contain learning.
So what did you do for families that might not have the technology that they need at home to continue to participate?
So when I first entered Crestwood Schools, one of the goals I had with the board was to go to become a one-to-one district where every student had a Chromebook. And, it was a 2 to 3 year plan. But with this pandemic, now it's become a 6-month plan. So we gathered all of our resources and we reached out to families and we surveyed and we identified which families were in high need of an electronic device. And then through gathering all our resources, we have lent out 98% of our current Chromebooks to students who are in need. And then for families of whom are in need and we don't have any more Chromebooks, we also have partnered with a local printing company, as well as Dean Transportation, where we're printing out packets, and Dean Transportation, which is the bus service we use, they're delivering the packets for us. So it's been a combination of things.
Wow.
And families that didn't get access to a Chromebook, teachers are reaching out to them on a continuous basis via phone and conversations.
Wow. Yeah, I know on one of the things we're doing on campus is for people who don't have Wi-Fi at home, we're making the Wi-Fi available in the parking lot of the library so people can come and take advantage of our campus Wi-Fi. But I know that some public schools are being criticized for doing similar things.
We're all going to be criticized for some form of something or another. I mean, there is no perfect solution. None of us have gone through this before. And even if we go through this again, it still won't be a perfect solution because, as with education one-on-one in the classroom, every child, every adult, every family has a different scenario. And to meet the needs 100% of every single scenario, it's going to be difficult. Now that's our goal, and we're going to shoot for that, and we're not going to, stop trying to push for that. But we're going to be realistic, and we're going to understand that we need to do everything we can. Yeah. And making Wi-Fi hotspots, that's going to be something that's in all of our future. Like identifying how we can make that available for everyone. And there are other districts that are, struggling more than Crestwood is struggling because of the economic needs of different communities and different districts. So it's going to look different everywhere we go.
Yeah, and I'm hearing from my colleagues who were teaching this last semester that so many of their students were directly affected. So in addition to all the technology things you have family members falling ill or passing away, and people having to cope with these things. And one of the things that my colleagues are dealing with is so teachers are also parents. And suddenly you're trying to teach classes and manage, the needs of your students when you've got your own children at home who you're having to help. You know what I mean? So it's just a huge challenge. So I know that we don't yet know what's happening in the fall, but obviously our whole economy really depends not only on the work that the public schools do educating the next generation, but also providing support for families, basically providing daycare so that parents can work. So what is the prognosis for the fall right now?
So we are in the process of a few things. First off, we are bringing in more social emotional supports for the fall. We have reorganized and restructured our title and different grant funding sources. So we're bringing in additional social emotional supports that will support families, especially if we are, full face-to-face next year. Students are gonna, they've been home for a while. They're gonna need some of that additional social emotional support. And we are currently putting together, we're brainstorming 3 possible scenarios. Scenario 1, back to school face-to-face, but with some adjustments. Scenario 2, a hybrid form of learning, some days in, some days out. And then scenario 3, as we are now, and what can we do better? So we are starting in that brainstorm phase. And then we are putting some committees together that are going to finalize and make some recommendations to the Board of Education come June, so that we are prepared moving forward. And additionally, there's a federal grant that we just received. Crestwood Schools is receiving $1.2 million through the Federal CARES Act grant. It's a COVID response grant. And we are using 96% of those funds to purchase more Chromebooks, so that every student can have a Chromebook in their hand come fall. If we're one-to-one, if we're face-to-face, hybrid, or we're moving in that direction, where every student's gonna be a one-to-one district. And also we're using some of that funding to bring in, like I said, additional emotional social supports. So we're trying to plan ahead. We're hoping that our planning for hybrid or any one face-to-face is for naught. But we as a district have agreed that no matter what, day one, our curriculum is going to include technology and the use of a platform, so that we can start preparing students, even if we are back to a normal setting, to be prepared to start learning online as well. That is the future of education.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, we're doing that on campus too. We're trying to go to 100% of courses at least available online. Like there are certain science labs and art labs, basically studios, where you really need to be face to face. I teach public history, which is kind of a fieldwork based class where the students have to get out and interview people. I mean, they're gonna be interviewing people like I'm interviewing you now. that's what we have to do for the time being. Well, so I also know that it's Ramadan, and this has been a very unique Ramadan. How is that happen? How has your Ramadan been personally, and even maybe for your families in your district?
Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, it's going well. The thing about Ramadan that people tend to lose track of, because, there's always that focus on not eating and not drinking from sunrise to sunset, but is more of the family, the get-togethers, the breaking fast together, the suhr at night, where you have a cup of coffee and a dessert with family. That's really a lot what Ramadan is. It's more in terms of self-reflection, gaining patience, and spending time with family. And prior to this year's Ramadan, with the stay-at-home order, my family and I, we had dinner together every day because we were all home. Mm-hmm. And it was funny going into Ramadan. It was like, that was usually the 30 days of the year where we have dinner together every day. Like,
but now you're ready for a break.
Exactly. So, I will say it has been testing my patience this year, because of the fact that, I come into the office, I do my work, we do what we have to do, I go home, and then that's it. My family, my immediate family, my wife and my 4 children, we were together, which is great, but you want to see your parents more. You want to see your in-laws more. You want to see your cousins more. It's a familiar thing, it's family. And that's the hardest part about it. And then on a selfish end, you can't do anything to waste time. You're home, it's like you used to go to the mall, or you go shopping, or
go to Suhoor Fest. Go get some food in the middle of the night. Yeah, I will tell you that last year I was I was wandering around documenting Ramadan in Dearborn Heights, and I am just fixated on the garages of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. East Dearborn has its own garage culture, but Dearborn Heights, whoa, man, people are just knocking it out of the park. There were some of those fancy garages. And we would just drive down the street or just get out of your car and walk down a side street in anywhere in Dearborn Heights, but in particular, south of Ford Road, you know, like between Beach Daly and, I don't know, John Daly, in that neighborhood, you could just walk down the street and you would see all these people with their garage doors open, 20 people in the garage. You walk by, I mean, I'm not an Arab, I'm not a Muslim, but I say Salam alaikum, and they're like, come on in, have some sweets, you know, sure, take our picture. It was so very, very social. And yeah, so it's, I'm sure this year I'm not going out. There is I don't know if you've heard of the Ramadan lights contest.
I did. I did see that on Instagram, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're involved in that too. So we'll see this week. We're going to start. We do the judging this weekend, and then we'll start announcing next week. So we're trying to do a little bit of lightness. And some of the elected officials I've been talking to, they actually are really loving Ramadan this year, because usually they have to go to so many iftars, those kind of public events, that they're like, I finally get to spend Ramadan with my family. So
that is true.
Anyway, well, so, well, I thank you for all the work you're doing on behalf of the community. It sounds like the Crestwood School District is in good hands.
We have a very good team here. I have to emphasize, we have an excellent team, and honestly, our Board of Education, we are a team. We've been working together, so it's a good group of people.
Well, I think that's all you can ask in this moment. Some people rise to the occasion, and it sounds like that's what's happening in Crestwood. So I thank you for talking with us, and I wish you all the best. And whatever comes in the fall, open, you know, online, I just wish your district the best. And I also sort of hope that our elected officials continue to do right by our population here in Michigan. So.
Yes, and I thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this. This is very, 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 very nice of you.